Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. It is another live stream. My goal is to do about 12 this year as part of my regimen to get 75 videos and 12 live streams. And Luis, hello. Showtime indeed. Bachanel, hello. So today I want to talk about something that is immediately started after the last live stream. It was about showing up prepared and doing whatever it takes. And one of the things that I thought I was prepared. Okay, let me explain. So as soon as the live stream happened last time, the first thing that happened was my mic was muted, and I couldn't figure it out. Like why everything was set up right, everything was good, but this mic was brand new to me. I've been using the Shure SM7B as my main mic to do all the tutorials that I film. But this, I got excited because not only is it XLR, but it also allows you to do USB at the exact same time. So, bonus feature, and I'm going to do a full review on this microphone eventually, is that not only can I be recording to my camera at the exact same time, but I can be streaming out onto my computer all together, all at once, without having to have two separate mics or another DAC, digital analog converter, to bring it to another interface. So, because I've never used this microphone before, there is a mute button right here. And, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that as soon as a live signal goes to it through Ecamm, it actually kicked this into mute, which then ultimately caused me a lot of headaches. But because I was able to come prepared, I was prepared for it because I've actually done a lot of live streams in the past. I actually had a second mic built into that was going into the camera, and I was able to route it very quickly. But if I didn't have that second microphone, I would have been stuck here for a lot longer trying to troubleshoot a piece of gear that I only recently started to use. And so that's where this whole idea to do this live stream came from. It was my attempt to really hammer home the idea of taking the time beforehand that when you do show up for whatever you're doing, you show up prepared. And having a redundant or backup system is something that I've become very used to because I've actually done quite a few live performance stuff with some pretty big names, and we had to have redundant cameras, systems, microphones, everything in place to make sure that they were they had a flawless show, because it's their name that they put out there, and they want to make sure that they are seen as best as possible. So I'm glad I'm glad I came prepared and had a redundant microphone that I was able to quickly switch. And because all of you guys were screaming at me, letting me know that there was no sound, I did this whole intro because I was all excited. It was my first live stream. And then I looked over and I saw all the comments saying, muted, muted. Uh, but I wanted to try something else out today because after watching Tom Buck's video today about using the EOS webcam utility, I was like, why not? Why not use the second camera, see if I can get it to work? Because I only have, I'm using I don't want to ruin my stream here, but I am using a Blackmagic Ultra Studio 3G for my main camera. So I want to see if I can use the USB-C directly into the computer and test it out. So now I have two angles. So now I have my wide shot. Hello, hello. Here I am. Where am I? There I am. Let me just adjust this again. So again, it was having that redundant system, because if this camera battery went out, I can go and adjust. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to go a little bit freeform. Looks good as second angle. Luis, thank you. Wait, I'm gonna go back to it. Where is it? There it is. Is that the one? No, that's the close up. There we go. So now I have to not frame properly. I should be there. There, yeah. Anyways, so I want to tell you a few stories about coming prepared and doing whatever it takes to be prepared with every I want to say work, like every job that you go on, but like with everything. If you're able to approach every single opportunity and come prepared to that opportunity, it will do one of two things actually. One second. Where am I? So I just wrote this down before I did this show. Showing up means being prepared mentally and physically to put in the work, regardless of the outside factors or obstacles, including your own naysaying mind. And being prepared can reduce the fear and anxiety of potential embarrassment. And so, knowing that you're potentially walking into a high stress situation, coming prepared is the only thing that you can do to reduce that anxiety. And if, especially if it's the first time that you've ever walked into a situation like that, it is really important that you're able to know the expectations that are set and what you're supposed to deliver on. And if you can show up prepared and even over prepared, that's the opportunity where you can actually over deliver on those promises every single time that you're able to show up to those opportunities. I'm going to go back to this so I can, well, I guess I can do that too. All sounding good, everything sounding good. We're having fun, a little bit better than last time, kind of flowing into it, so I feel good about that. Wide shot. Here we go. There's Wally. If you guys ever noticed, every time I do a video, this position changes, and it's usually Wally, or it's Buzz, or it's Bullseye, or it's all that. So I have this. So this little story I'm going to tell you about. Story time. Let's see if I can get. Okay, story time. So I'm getting used to working. So I used to work for the startup where they would do large scale holographic events, and we had an opportunity to work with Stephen Hawking, and I got to work with him twice actually. And the very first time you get nervous, you're like, okay, you try to come prepared. You know all the gear is going to be right. You know the flow of the event is going to. I understood all that. I was prepared for that. And then coming on set, I even came prepared with questions and stuff like that to really try to communicate with him as best as possible. And knowing that he had to take time to write an answer and do all those kind of things, I prepped my questions to try to let him understand what was happening, what we're going to do, and if he had any questions that he could ask. And as I was there chatting with them for the very first time, just got introduced, everyone in the room got introduced, and you ask the question, and all he can move is his eyes, seemingly. And everyone's just standing there like, no one's saying anything, no one is communicating anything to me. So we just kind of went like, okay, we'll move on. And this was a moment I just, like, my heart sank, because I'm like, what didn't I know? What could I've known better to make this interaction better? Because I've seen the footage of him online. I've seen the footage of him talking with other people. So I had this expectation, and that was my preparation, which I thought it was. But it wasn't until after after the entire event was done, I was talking with some of the people that work with him closely, and they said, "Oh yeah, when he says yes, he lifts his eyebrows, and when he says no, he drops his lip." And I was like, "This would have been good information to know. If I had known that, I could have communicated with yes or no questions." But I had no idea, and it reminded me that you have to ask the questions, because you have to ask those kind of questions. And it doesn't have to be like, how do I communicate with them? It's like, what do I need to know to best do what I'm about to step into? And the only people that you can ask are the people that you're connecting with. and you can ask those questions beforehand. And that's part of being prepared, because no one else will ask those questions for you except you. So coming onto into any environment where you know that's going to be high stress and there's going to be variables that you're not familiar with, that's when you ask those questions. Like, for instance, just going onto a film set, if you don't know the gear that you're going to be using on the set, you have to ask that question. And if it's a piece of gear that you've never worked with, then it's your job to come prepared to work with that gear. And if you're working with a department that you've never worked with before, uh, it's your job to understand how that department works and use language that they understand to quickly communicate what you need to do. And this is a theme that has been coming over and over again with every aspect that I've done, with every job that I've worked on, with everything that I try to set out for. Even with this live stream, I thought I came prepared, yet there were still some malfunctions with the gear, but I was still able to switch over quickly because I came prepared with redundant systems, because I knew that that could be a potential issue. So I wanted to really reinforce that idea of whatever you do, whatever you're about to do the next day that causes you a little bit of stress and fear, which is a good thing, by the way, because that means you're pushing your own boundaries, is ask those questions to make sure that you come prepared. Speaking of which, are there any questions? If not, I am going to keep rambling. Another thing that I wanted to kind of touch on is Clubhouse, the pros and the cons about it. Because I knew that Clubhouse is going to get pretty quickly packed with so many different people working on or trying to get their voices say, and it's this free for all, it's this wild west that's happening there right now, where everyone's asking questions, but the moderators are trying to have some kind of order to it. And as soon as the rooms get beyond 30 or 40 people, it almost becomes impossible to ask a question, because by the time you get an opportunity to ask a question, that that question has been so buried in the conversation, or they've moved on to completely different topics, that it feels weird to be like, yeah, so remember like 30 minutes ago when you guys were talking about that, I had a question specifically about that. So it's an interesting place. It's a interesting little social experiment, but I actually find that when I do go into these rooms, I tend to want to listen more. And when I do want to ask a question, I have a very specific and pointed question that I have for someone, because I'm trying to understand the next step of this YouTube process and doing all the things that are actually really important to make sure that I'm hitting those strides at the right time. I'm not missing something at a certain point. I'm doing all the things that all the YouTube gurus are saying, and trying to not emulate, but have my own flow in my own videos that is very authentic and unique to me, and doing it in a way that I'm very comfortable. And doing these live streams is actually something that I want to do more, just so I can get used to talking free form without trying to edit and script in my head, because that's my background. I'm used to having the opportunity to take another take, do it again, edit that part out, try it again. It's a little bit stressful. The heart kind of pounds when you right before you hit the go live button. But I found that the more I'm doing this stuff in front of the camera, because I would get nervous just turning on the camera to talk to it in a pre-recorded video, which I found very, very weird, because there's no one else and I can just stop it. No one else is listening at this point and I can always edit it. But now I know that people are listening and they can ask questions, and you have to kind of be free form. And Jasim, hello. Look at exactly. Look at the bokeh. I know that this is delayed. I actually have two camera angles because I watched Tom's video today about using. Where am I on? About using the USB-C web utility to have multiple cameras, because I didn't have a switch or anything like that, and I didn't want to buy anything before or to set this up. So now I'm using two cameras, and thank you, Tom, for having for reminding me that the web utility was available, and it's actually worth it. just reading the comments. Fight more films. I'm going to add that to the broadcast. Thank you. I have to say I'm very impressed with how you're dropping videos with such quality and the content as well. Thank you. I love doing it, and the last video that I dropped, the last video that I posted is kind of a culmination of my whole year experience, and I want to communicate all the things that I found are working, that all the advice that I got from all the gurus online that did work and is working. And I wanted to put it all into a concise video that I didn't expect to turn into a 17-minute behemoth, but it was all the things that were working. And those are only step 1 and 2. Find your niche and then make the videos in that niche. And those two things will attract people to your videos because they're going to be searching for those kind of things, and they're going to be searching for that topic. And people and YouTube will see that as a great signal, especially if they're liking the way you're doing the videos. So if you're doing stuff that they're searching for, you're doing it in a way that you're passionate about it, and you're doing the videos well enough where your passion shows through, they're going to give you a thumbs up. They don't need to subscribe. YouTube likes over subscribes, because someone can only subscribe to your channel once, but they can like every single thing that you post indefinitely. So, and if someone really doesn't like your video, then you can tell them to hit that dislike button twice, and you just call it a day. Just extra. So, but yeah, one of the things that happened this past week, I was taking the opportunity on Clubhouse to ask some of the big thought leaders or the brand strategists on YouTube, especially Daryl from the one he helps, Mr. Beast. I wanted to ask him directly because he has that, that little perfect formula that is working really, really well for Mr. Beast, but it doesn't work for every single video. Like for my videos, doing way too much editing. I even felt that with this last video that I posted, that there was a little bit too much editing in it and it was a bit too fast, but I'm doing that experiment. I'm taking that time to test this for the next 10 videos. So the next 10 videos may be a little bit faster, but let me know what you guys thought. If you've seen the video, let me know. Was it too fast paced? Was there too many graphics? Was I talking too fast? Was there too much? Was it too Mr. Beastie? I know it wasn't Mr. Beastie, Mr. Beast, but it was an experiment to try to get 2 points faster, to try to front load that video, because one of the comments that came up is try to get people to stay. If you can get them past the hook and get them to stay for about a minute, they'll watch more. So that was one of the things. So I kind of reshuffled the edit, and I also I recorded and wrote that video before I even joined Clubhouse. So I already had these bullet points. So every time I went into the Clubhouse, I wanted to ask those questions like, should you do this? Should you do that? What do you think of this? And they were all just affirmations of what I've already put in that video. So my question for you, when you do have a chance, go check out that other video and let me know what your thoughts are. Was it too cutty? Was it nice? Did it work? Should I pace it down? Was I talking too much? Eventually, by the end of this year, I'm hoping that I'm able to record a video just through bullet points. And when I come prepared for January 2022's live stream, I can do almost an entire video with one full thought instead of doing the bullet points that I'm doing right now. Yeah, the video with Tom is the one that I'm talking about. This is the USR right now. I've utilized this camera so much. It is my main B-roll camera. It is really, really good for so many different things. And I shoot most of the stuff, even all the B-roll in HD. There's a few instances where I have used 4K. I haven't got the speed booster I because I use the I like using the ND filter, so that would kind of throw off that workflow. But I'm really excited about the next step. The next camera that I'm kind of looking at is the R1 and the C70 because they have, well, at least the C70 has built-in ND filters. Because then I can work with those kind of cameras a little bit better. Because I like having stuff wide open. And like right now, I'm at a 1.2, but I'm using an ND filter. If I had opened that up and hold on, she snuck in. Say hi. Hi. Okay, you gotta go. Go. Go find mommy. My A camera is this one right here. Right now, I'm using the 70 to, sorry, the 16 to 35. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Where do we go? Live. So just pretend like that was edited out and we didn't see any of that. So so A camera, let's go back to that. The lens that I'm using on this one is a 16 to 35 with a the Schneider Hollywood Blackmagic mist on it. It is my favorite combo for this kind of setup. And I'm not showing you the setup, that kind of setup. I do want to get a 24 mil for this so I can get a little bit more blurry in the background, but I'm not too worried about this. I just like this frame. So I feel that this frame would be a little bit too close and the camera would be a bit too far away. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. What do you guys think? Should I go with this for some videos and see how it goes? But it's not always about the bokeh, is it? If Tom was here, he'd say it's all about that. That's what he wants to do. His videos are always creamy and nice goodness. So I recently did a interview, which I'm going to be posting soon with Brad Dixon, and we talked about and this is another thing of being prepared. We talked about a piece of software that he developed, which is called 4K Scopes, and it allows you to see how the sensor of the camera is seeing the light. Because I did a video about comparing the Aperture MC with the Nanlite, the oh, you can't see them. This is hard, guys. Like trying to, so those lights right there, the Pavo Tube 6C. So I did a comparison video between those two lights, and I looked at the output, I looked at the color temperatures, I looked at all those things. And one of the things that really struck me is how off their color temperature was when they're side by side. And then I checked them with a color temperature meter, and they were off quite a bit. So if you have different brands of lights in your scene, you may set them to, daylight or 5600, but they may be really off unless you are able to see with a light meter. Oh, that's what I missed. I knew I forgot something. There we go. That's a bit better. Coming prepared. So So the tool that he has is actually a scope that allows you to measure how the sensor is seeing the color of LEDs. And he has an extensive background working with one of the bigger broadcasters that here in Canada that was working with LEDs before almost anybody else. And we talk about how that software, you can actually then tweak your lights to give you the correct output, and you can set all of them. And this is part of the when we do like film commercials or films, anything where we need to have a lot of gear, there's always one or two camera prep days that come in. And and when when you do the camera prep, you're checking the making sure the lenses are nice and clean, the focus works, there's no weird things with the camera, all the camera functions are proper. But this is another opportunity to come prepared and know that your LED lights are going to your daylight LED lights are going to work like HMIs, and your tungsten lights, your tungsten LEDs are going to have the true tungsten light. You can actually dial it in and set it. And it may not be a tool that everyone uses, but it's a tool that if you're doing anything on a bigger scale, is such a great tool. And it's just another thing that you can do to make sure that you're coming prepared for everything that you're setting out to do. Like everything, like anytime you go to the bank, you need to come prepared. Anytime you're finishing up something, like you're doing a home project, you have to know, you have to come prepared. You have to be prepared to put in the work, get past the anxiety, the fear that you're going to screw up, which I always have. It always shows up, but I'm still able to push through and start doing it. And there's a lot of times where I let stuff incubate in the back of my head because I'm overthinking it. So there's that balance of come prepared, but know that there's a point where you have to start. So that's why I think projects and having start dates for those projects is actually really good, because then you know there's a timeline and you just start. Okay, what are we looking at here? So, Luis, that's what I'm trying to figure out. You say you're a photographer first. I'm trying to figure out. I haven't heard your entire story. I've heard your story with your son and your life situation, but I'm trying. What is your work background? What is that? I haven't had a chance to deep dive into that, and I want to know more. So you say you're a photographer first, but you're definitely doing a lot of live streams and you're doing a lot of video production, which is awesome. Like you're one of the people that is pushing so hard and doing all those things that you need to do early on to boost your recognition. So it's you're contributing, which then leads to the relevance, which then leads to that satisfaction. So the things that you're doing, it's keep going, because you're inspiring so many people to by your work ethic. See if there's any other questions. Clicking on stuff randomly. Okay. So Chanel is asking, what is best advice through what's the best advice you got through Clubhouse? All right. So I asked some people about they were kind enough to do just a quick channel review of my thumbnails of my channel, and they looked at it, and from their perspective, they say that I'm doing everything right, which it's a compliment and it feels good, but at the same time, I am still like trying to figure it out. Like everyone says, if you do these things, your channel's going to grow, and it's true. It will. My channel, I feel is growing at a good pace and at a pace that I expected. So this is what I kind of prepared myself mentally for before I started. That I knew that the first 6-8 months would be very slow, and then there would be the best way I can describe it. I would get 0 views and 0 subscribers for the first couple of videos, then you get 1 or 2 views, 10 views, 1 subscriber every week, and then that turns into 2 subscribers, every week. Then that turns into 1 subscriber a day. Then that turns into 10 subscribers. And if you look at my analytics chart, you can actually see that it's just the steady growth. And I remember MKBHD doing an interview, and they asked him, "Is there one particular moment that you noticed that your channel just took off?" And he showed his analytics, and it was the exact same thing where he just said it was just this constant. He was consistent, and then the subscribers just kept going, and it was exponential because there's a point where it starts to pick up. Like looking at my channel analytics right now, I'm after about a year and 4 months, 5 months now, I'm at the 20 to 30 subscribers per day, which I find fascinating because these are all people. If there was 5,000 people, which my channel is almost that, if there was 5,000 people in a room with me and I had to talk with them, man, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine 200 people. And that was one of the best pieces of advice that someone gave me, because I said, what can I do to raise my views on my videos? Because I'm getting like 200 to 300 views for a video. And they said, imagine 200 people in a room with you and you're telling them that story. How would you feel? And my mind just kind of went like, that's a lot of people. 200 views is a lot of people. I know that we lock into the the mystique of all these big YouTubers that are getting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views within hours. But they built up to that. Look how long they've been on the channel, and look how many videos they've actually uploaded. And one of the people was saying, I think Daryl, who helps Mr. Beast, he said that Mr. Beast made 1,000 videos before he got any traction on the platform. And I'm here complaining that my 7th video, I'm 70th video, I'm not doing that well. I think I'm doing fairly well, and I know that it's because I'm showing up every week, doing the videos, putting in the time and effort. Roberto Blake said, I love this quote. He actually said, it's like, I make videos where it's like, I've done your homework for you. So I feel the same way, where like when I post these videos, I feel confident that I've checked and double checked that the figures and the facts, they resonate and they are true in that moment. If things change, then I'll address that. And I tried doing one of those. I tried doing one of those videos where it's like, these are the 10 things I don't like about something, something. And it was about the USR. And people instantly were like, no, bleh, God, no, why? It's like everyone's just so angry right off the bat, which I found hilarious. And at the same time, like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have done a full on review video that was, these are my 10 best things that I like about the EOSR with the 5 things that I don't like. I should have framed it like that. And that's how I'm going to do that moving forward, because doing I know I needed to do the counterpoint to the EOSR because it's not a perfect camera, but I wanted to talk about those things. I didn't want to just leave it out there that I'm just gushing for Canon. And speaking of Canon, photographer, side hustle, Mr. Camera Junkie. Yes. Nice. iPhone repair technician. It's great. And you're doing, I know how much work goes into making a channel and making these videos and putting in the time and the thought, and like even doing a live stream just to set up into it. So kudos to you, man, because this stuff is hard. And when a lot of people realize that when they start making their first free videos, they're like, I'm going to make a video. And then they're like, wow, that took a lot of work. That's like 8 or 12 hours. Very, very true. Oh, I'm going to turn off notifications. 1 second. So, someone asked me the other day, why do I use Canon cameras? Why do I use Canon cameras? And the simple answer is, am I over here? I'm over here. Where am I? And the simple answer is they work really well with all the gear that I have. The Kodak is very light on my system, and I'm able to get a lot more work done with a lot less power. And I'm and a lot of the clients' work that I did over the past 10 years, they were all using C100, then the C300, then the C200, then the C500. They were always using those cameras as their go-to camera, and then every other. And this is just my own experience. And then if they wanted something a bit bigger than that, it would be the Arri Alexa and the the red camera. So, and it was just because all the other cameras that were available, and I think it was the rental house, they just had that, and the rental house that we worked with the most, that was the camera that they had always. They had like, I think, 3 Alexas at the time, and 3 Reds, but then they had this whole backlog of Canon cameras and Canon lenses, and it just, it was a lot easier. And a lot of the DPs that we were working with, those are the cameras that they wanted to work with, so it actually made sense for that. So I ended up buying a Canon 5D Mark II back in 2009 or 2008 as just a camera to complement some of the work that we were already doing. Then I ended up buying a 1DX and started buying lenses, and I still have some of those lenses. And I just kept adding to it. And I did have to work with Sony's for a little bit when I was working with that hologram company. They wanted to do Sony's mostly, the FS9. But when it came down to it, because I had all these lenses, all this glass, it just made a lot more sense for me to keep in one branded ecosystem, because one camera matches to the other a lot easier than if I had a Sony and then a Canon. Because it's the same thing with the lights. As soon as you move to a different brand, the colors are going to be a little bit different. The workflow is a little bit different, and it just adds time and frustration every step of the way down the road, because sometimes the SD cards aren't the same, sometimes the lenses aren't the same. So it made no sense to have two different ecosystems. You choose one, stick with it, because you can drop a LUT on either of the cameras that I have and it will look very close and very similar, and you can work. And once you understand one Canon log camera, then you can work with the other one just as easily. So that's another thing for coming prepared, where you know how the workflow is going to be. You know that you're not going to have any extra things that you need to try to figure out. And that's part of the fix it in camera motif, mantra that we have on this channel, is know what's going in front of the camera, know what's going to be in the frame, make sure that all the stuff that is there is on purpose when you're doing stuff. And know how the back end is going to be, because if you can take 5 minutes to fix it in camera right now, you can save yourself days on the back end. Let's see what else we have here. Absolutely. And because my background is actually making content for a lot of clients, a lot of other companies and brands, I know how much work goes into it. One of my best friends, he does feature films, and I think is on his 12th or 13th, 14th. Oh God, I don't know, but he puts in so much effort. Like he pumps out about two features a year at this point, just the way he's working. But before, he would spend 2 years building up the script and getting everyone in place and doing, and just making the entire process take so much time and hundreds of people. And then someone would watch the film and just be like, meh. And it's just like, you know how many hours went into making that? I know that's not an excuse for uh a good film or not, like, but so many people that are on those sets, they set out to make the best thing that they can with the resources that they have. And so there is that huge respect that I have for anyone that does these kind of things, because even making a 3 to 5 minute long YouTube video, it takes a lot of work. Not only the courage to put yourself in front of the camera and actually do this, but to go out and to spend the time and put it online, and then someone leaves a nasty comment for sometimes no reason at all, just because they're having a bad day. Why put in that effort just to bring someone else down to someone else's level? Anyways, Philip, hello. I have a question. Let's see. Okay. How to know when you're ready to teach other people to edit, color, shoot videos? Is knowledge enough? No, knowledge is not enough. You have to do something with it. Knowledge without the practice to go behind it is is a little bit empty. And that's just my perspective. I even doing these I did like 10 test live streams to private things just to see if things were working before. And I'm not even ready to talk about how to do a live stream because I still don't know enough, but I have 10 years of experience to do video stuff. But if you learn something, now here's the difference. To teach someone the full scope of something, you make sure you put in that practice. But if you want to teach something like, if you want to teach someone and like something that you just found that was so cool, or you found a way to do something a little bit more efficiently, or you found a way to do something that works really, really well, and you've actually used it in your own production or your own workflow, yes, absolutely share that info, because people are always searching for those little bits of nuggets that not everyone may think are as important. I've done little videos where it's like, there's a record button, you can set, there's a button on the USR where you can push and it'll go from the photo mode to the video mode. And when I found that out, I thought like this is a great little thing, and I literally found that out that day, and I wanted to let people know about it. So, um, sharing knowledge and sharing stuff that you found is definitely a good approach. Sorry, my phone is. I find that there's almost every type of answer. You can find almost any answer on YouTube. And someone said to me, "Oh, this is another going back to the best advice from Clubhouse." I asked someone, "Should I make tutorial videos?" Because I used to have a second channel where I did just tutorial videos, but I didn't. It wasn't for me. I didn't really enjoy it. But I'm making tutorial videos on this that are very related to the fix it in camera aspect, where so it's fix it in camera and then finesse it in post. So someone said to me, because I asked like, should I make those kind of videos? Because for instance, I want to make a camera basics video, and I asked, should I make a camera basics video? Because there's already plenty of those kind of videos online that are really good. And I can't remember who said it to me. I think it was Daryl. Um, but he said to me, or he asked me, is it on your channel? And I said no, which he replied, then it doesn't exist for you. And that was one of those other moments where it's like, you're right. I can treat my own channel as my own little microcosm of information that I show and share through my perspective. So I guess, Philip, to go back to your question, I'm gonna kind of take a step back and like, if you feel that you can teach someone by making a video and teach someone an aspect of a process that isn't readily available, then I say go for it. Just make it, because in the process of making that video, you will also learn to use it better. And that's I actually found that a lot too, where I'm like, okay, I want to make an editing tutorial, and I go out and I'm like, ooh, well, I need to add this too. Well, I need to add that too. And then you just the video turns in from like a 1 to 2 minute little tip to a 10 minute. Here's a deep dive into all the things that this will allow you to cascade from, which I think it's a great opportunity to just keep making content day in, day out, and enjoy the process of making video after video. And uh, in my latest video, I actually have this one comment, or not one comment, but I make the statement that one great video idea does not make a YouTube channel. Hundreds of good videos make a great YouTube channel. So that's the way I'm approaching this, where hopefully my videos are at that cusp where they're good enough, and just keep making those at that level. I know I can spend more time and do VFX and motion graphics and, make it a television production. But even in the latest video that I did, Tom was in, he said that it doesn't need to be broadcast quality. It doesn't need to be made for TV. People are expecting a little bit of that naturalistic human connection part, flubbing up, having kids running in the room. So I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying doing these types of videos. I'm enjoying connecting with everyone here. I'm enjoying showing up prepared and doing whatever it takes. Everyone has their way of teaching, and every student has their favorite teachers. Yes, absolutely. I still remember some of the my favorite teachers, and I've had I had a science teacher that just literally made me so interested in science. I had other science teachers that were teaching me the same thing before and after, but it was the way he taught that made me want to do it. So, Luis, you're absolutely right. It's just do you know what, Philip, do it. Go for it. Don't listen to me. I'm just a random guy on the internet. But I do enjoy making these videos, and it's one of those things where my career over the last 10 years has been in post production. I have been doing visual effects, motion graphics, and a lot of editing. So I've spent a lot of time on the post side, on the back end of making a lot of content. But I started and I went to university to learn cinematography. And before that was photography. So this was my opportunity to get back in, not in front of the camera, but to get and start using the camera again, to start doing these kind of, to pick up the camera to take photos again. There was a long stretch where for like 5 years, I didn't want to even take photos. I didn't want to practice that. I didn't want to explore photography. I was just so happy being in the post-production realm, just working on the computer and figuring how to craft a story in its third stage in post-production. But there was a point where I just started liking taking photos again, and I missed it. I really did miss using the camera. I really missed the fundamentals of it. I really missed enjoying just to enjoy it, not for work. And there was a point where I had to relearn a lot of stuff. I had to relearn what what it meant to take a good photo, and I'm still learning what it means to take a good photo, and I'm still relearning what it means to frame a good shot. And doing these kind of tutorial videos and just talking about stuff, it's allowing me just to play and make videos because I want to make videos, not for anyone specific, but I'm sharing them with everyone out there. I'm sharing them with people that I know are going to be excited about the same kind of stuff as I am. And if I'm able to spark a little bit of excitement in someone else and to go out and try something a little bit different, and try something different in the post-production realm and in front of the camera, behind the camera, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Luis, thank you. I'm enjoying making them, and I'm enjoying conversations with all you guys. Like this is great. Like, Kelly, saw you joined Clubhouse. How are you liking it? I think I'm a little bit over it. Yeah, it's 1.250. There's no way around it. I needed to go. Everyone kept saying they liked that They like that shot versus the other one, the other boring shot. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's so in focus and boring. What is my personal favorite? My personal favorite type of photography that I don't share. Portrait photography. That's one of my favorite things to do. And there was a point where I would keep bugging my wife and like I want to take photos, keep taking photos. That's the kind of stuff that I like doing. And then when I took that hiatus and I didn't want to take photos, my wife actually, she's like, "Come on, let's take some pictures and let's do how we used to, like just have little photo shoots." And just that feeling wasn't there. So I needed that break. I needed to step away from it because I was doing it since I was 12 years old, and it was such a long run of just creating that when I stepped away from it and when I was doing it for other people, I just lost the passion for it. It was just, well, I didn't say I lost the passion for it. I would be doing it all day for work, and then I didn't want to do it just for fun. But now I like doing it for fun. I actually help my wife set up her own channel, and we're still trying to figure it out, just like we're trying to figure out this channel. um Clubhouse is distracting. I'm distracting. Stop it. It's distracting me now. So portrait photography is my favorite to do because it's it's one of those things where it's intentional. I like crafting a story in the frame. Like landscape photography is cool and all, but I'm not too keen on waking up at 4 in the morning or the crack of ass and getting out there and it's cold. Like I just shoveled the snow today and it was like, no, it's not for me. I love playing hockey. I love the cold. I love skiing, snowboarding, but like I don't want to bring a camera to those kind of things. But I love doing portrait photography because you're able to have an opportunity to deliberately put the light in the right place, to deliberately put the subject in a way that can convey a story. Everything in the frame in a portrait photo is deliberate. If you're using a shallow depth of field, then the background's uh, out of focus, and you're focused on the story of that person in the frame. And I think that's why my second favorite would be small product photography, because again, it's you're just focused on this one area and everything in the frame is deliberate, and I love that. So I'm not I love all types of photography, but I'm just not a fan of landscapes and whatnot. Like if you look at my Instagram feed, and I don't curate it too much, but it's mostly products and portrait shots on there because that's what I gravitate to and that's what I like. Heather, hello, hello. Going back up. Hold on, there's a few questions. Philip, you have another question? My idea was to start to make tutorials on my native language for people who don't know or understand English very well. Just basic stuff in the beginning, but as you said, bad comments are annoying. Yeah, we had a discussion. I think I was talking with Tom and Heather on one of their live streams, and I said that even with 100 positive comments, and definitely my channel's at a point where I'm getting positive comments constantly, and I love it. And then there's that one just irks me a little bit, and that I don't know why us as humans are so affected by that little bit of negativity when we're surrounded by so much positivity. I get past it very quickly, and I usually respond with kindness and say, if it's a comment about a negative aspect of the video that I made, I'll just say, yeah, I agree, you're right, I should have done this, or I should have done that, or I didn't think of it that way, thanks for the comment. Like, it's just, I have to acknowledge that not everyone's going to like my videos. I'm not Nutella or wine, depending on what your flavor is. It just have to do the videos that you would like to see out there. And for Philip, for you, it would be a great thing to do it in a language as doing those tutorials, because if it's not there, you can find a huge audience that is looking for that in a language that is native to a lot of those speakers. So I say go for it. And anyone, anytime anyone leaves a bad comment, just brush it off and move on. It'll affect you for a few minutes and maybe a day, but it's not going to matter in the long run. And as I said in my last video, the only video that you think about is the last one that you uploaded and the next one that you're posting. Everything in your back catalog, it doesn't exist anymore in my mind. I have 70 videos, and sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I did a video about that. So I find that very interesting. Where when you just start a channel, you're obsessing about every single video, and then you get to a point where you're like, that's it didn't matter, that video that I did a year ago, and it's still going. Oh, and here's the thing. If you guys have smaller channels and haven't been monetized, or just about to get monetized, or just got monetized, I did about 40 videos before my channel got monetized. And some of the videos that are doing the best revenue wise, and I'm not talking crazy money, I'm talking like a couple $100, are videos that I posted before I got monetized. So don't save any video ideas until after you get monetized. Just go for it, because those videos, they may not bring in money right away, but they may be the ones that bring you over the 4,000 hours. They may be the ones that bring you over the 1,000 subscribers. Go all in on all those ideas, because if you don't do an idea right away, it'll sit in your list of great ideas and you'll never make it, because by the time you get to that point, the info has changed and you've moved on to other things. So you'll have to rethink it anyways. So just go for it. Clubhouse is very distracting. Hello. Hello, hello, Heather. You guys are doing a live stream later. When I did my first live stream, it didn't even cross my mind that you guys were doing a live stream at the exact same time. So I apologize for bumping heads with you guys last time. Well, it's about time he has an auto poll. And I saw that he has the backdrops and everything. Like, he is going full on into his studio. And his videos look so good all the time. Okay, so the video that I just did, if you guys haven't seen it already, Tom was kind enough to collab with me and share his ideas for starting out a YouTube channel and the things that you should really think about. So definitely check out the video and check out Tom's channel if you haven't already subscribed to him. But I'm almost 100% sure that everyone that watches my videos knows about Tom. But he what was I gonna say? Geez, this life stuff is. Oh, so yeah, what I wanted to say was that my wife saw the video and instantly commented how well spoken and comfortable Tom is in his delivery of the videos, that it's so easy to watch him talk about something. And I think it's because he has that years of practice, which I know I need to do to get even close to that confidence level of just being able to talk and have a good presence on camera. So I'm learning every day. 100%. Listen to Heather. She knows what she's talking about, Philip. I apologize if I say this name wrong, but Jorge, George. I'm terrible with names. Please forgive me. But hello from Paraguay. See, I told you they're doing a live stream right now. No, I don't think so. He's literally on camera 24 hours a day, either through his work, through his Zoom calls. He is constantly in show mode, especially this past year. I think he wakes up, has his coffee, doesn't even put on his pants, and just starts live streaming, and then just flips the switch for where he's going to be posting next. It's a constant barrage of streams from Tom. And not only that, he has two podcasts. He has uh just everywhere. He does interviews. He's just everywhere. Like Tom is going to be uh he's going to get that silver play button by the summer, maybe sooner. Just like when people say someone's crushing it on YouTube, that's the guy. Like when I started watching him, he had sub 10,000 views, 10,000, or sorry, sub 10,000 subs. Now he's just easing by 50,000. Um, I remember when he hit 40,000 subs, he did his live stream. He got he got 2,000 more subs, and I just got to about the 4,500. Uh, sorry, I got to the 4,000 mark in subs. He got 2,000 more subs faster than I was able to get 200 more subs. Like it's like a meteor. It's just, yeah, just going. And soon you're going to be crushing it because you have the same kind of passion. And if guys, anyone here, go follow Jasim. Go check out his channel. This guy is putting in the work. He's putting in the hours. Putting in he's putting forth his passion to make these videos. And just like Tom, his passion is showing through when he makes his videos. You can see the enjoyment he gets from making the videos. And all the videos that he does, I always love because he puts so much effort and humor into them that I'm always curious about what he's going to do next, or how he's going to approach a topic, or how he's going to do stuff. And he does such a great job. And he's a professional photographer, which someone asked me the other day, what's the fastest way to make money as a photographer? Sell your camera. I would never say that to anybody. I didn't actually say that. I thought that was funny. I put it in my last video. All right, guys, it is past 7. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all 4,800 plus people that have joined this channel and want to fix it in camera. Leave your suggestions. Tell me what kind of things you like, what you want to know more about. I have a huge backlog of experience with Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, DaVinci, with Canon cameras. I'm not going to do much stuff with Sony cameras because I don't own any at the moment. Let me know if there's anything you want to know. Freelancers, if you want to know more about how to build your freelance business, how to get more clients, how to charge properly. Never charge by the hour, by the way. Let me know what aspect that you would love to know more about. I can definitely do videos about this topic in nauseam. As my wife puts it, I am annoyingly optimistic, and I'm going to keep going. So hello, everyone on Tom's stream. Make sure you subscribe to Tom if you haven't already. I am out. Wait. Let's see if I can remember the outro. As always, thanks for watching. Give me a big thumbs up. I'm Rafael. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.